Hey, Talofalava. Good morning. This is Leotawa Dr. John Peterson, and you're watching TE2 Edge Sports Cards. Coming at you live and direct from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and it is Sunday morning. Thought I'd do a quick video here demonstrating or explaining, I guess, how I do my PSA submission process. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment, and hopefully this is informational and can be helpful for you. It's a process I've been working on for the last few months since the prices for PSA have kind of dropped a little bit, and so just kind of curious to see how I do with this. I've got a couple different groups of cards that I'm going to submit. I am not a member of the PSA, what is it, Collectors Club? I'm not exactly sure what it's called. I have an elite membership with CSG, and that's about $300 a year. So that's really where I kind of spend my money in terms of membership for grading services. So I do most of my, if not all of my submissions to CSG myself. I don't go through a group submitter. So I, screen the cards, look at things with my loop, and, generally just kind of go on my own with that. But whenever I do a PSA submission, I use two different group submitters. One of the group submitters that I've used in the past is 3-Star Sports Cards, which is my local card shop in Bloomington, probably 10 minutes from where I live. And I've done a number of orders through them. They do a nice job. I like what they offer in terms of a service, but they don't really do very good screening. And that's really these days what I put a premium on when submitting to PSA. The screening service is something that is offered by a number of group submitters. One of them is called Got Baseball Cards, which you've heard me mention. They're based out of the Atlanta area. And so I've been going more and more with them in terms of my PSA submissions. So right now I think they're charging like $20, $22 for bulk for PSA. And they've got a pretty good relationship with PSA. They're associated also with Sport Card Investor. They've got a partnership with their grading. So yeah, I mean, it's a long shot with PSA. I mean, things have been really pretty inconsistently coming back. Especially, man, vintage. Boy, I've heard some wild stories about vintage in terms of the inconsistencies with PSA, but I don't know, like if it's a card that you want to move, and I do have cards that I want to move, I don't want to sit on too much inventory as a dealer, investor, and collector too. You've got to get stuff in PSA slabs. So now CSG slabs do sell, they just don't sell at the same rate. And some of the cards that I have that I want to keep, I'm fine with putting them in a CSG slab. And if I want to cross it over, I can snap them out and submit them to PSA through Got Baseball Cards and see how I do with that if I really, really want to sell it. An example would be this 56 mantle that I have in a CSG slab. It's a 7.5. If I really felt like I needed to move that card, snap it out, submit it to PSA through Got Baseball Cards, probably get a 6.5 or a 7, hopefully not a 6, and then I can move it. I can auction it off, or I can put it up on my slabs or whatever. So, but anyway, I thought what I would do is there's two different groups of cards I want to show you. There's the group of cards that I plan to submit that are already raw. And then there's a group of cards that I'm going to snap out of CSG 9.5 cases and submit to Got Baseball Cards to see if they can screen for any possible 10s. So some of these cards you may have seen already, but I just thought I'd go through these again. There's a 61 Jim Brown, 57 Clemente. It's a 58 Batting Foes. Dobie 58. 58 K-Line. 59 Musial. This was in a BVG slab. It was slabbed up as an 8. Real curious to see what I get on this from PSA. I'm guessing probably a 7. But you never know. Might do better than that. I got both of these raw. This is a 59 Robinson. This also was in a BVG slab. That was a BVG 6, I believe. So I snapped that out. BVG slabs are hard to snap out, I'm not gonna lie. They're built like tanks. 61 tops, mantle, or sorry, home run leaders. American League home run leaders. Move this a little bit. 63 K-line. I think this one will actually do well with PSA. I think PSA is definitely more lenient when it comes to centering, especially on the back. 63 Spawn. This was in a 7.5 BVG slab that I bought online from Sport Car Auctions. Yeah, 7.5 in a BVG slab. This was an 8 in a BVG slab. So the centering on these 63s is always tough. Look on the back, left to right. So hopefully that comes back in a 7 or an 8. I think this in a 7, as opposed to like a CSG 7.5, is preferable. 63 Ford. So that's the vintage. So there's really not a whole lot that Got Baseball Cards is going to do with those other than just submit them. I mean, they can screen them, but there's not really anything they're going to be screening particularly for. Because with vintage, you're not going to get a 10 on any of these anyway. So the next group, this is some ultra modern basketball. 2021 Mosaic Anthony Edwards Gold. 98 Bowman's Best Kobe. 2021 Mosaic Giannis. Cracked Red Ice 2021 Prism. It's Edwards. Try and pick up a lot of Edwards being here in the Twin Cities. This is a LaMelo. I traded for that. So I'm real curious to see what I get back on this from PSA. Even a 9 would be nice. It's a rated rookie Donruss Orange Laser 2021. Here's an artist proof Steph that I pulled out of a box. And then another one that I picked up online for 40 bucks. So and the 2 Giannis rookies, which I've shown you before. These were both pulled out of boxes. And then the Giannis Gold, which was also pulled out of a box. I'm guessing that'll be a 9, if I had to guess. So, but these will go to Got Baseball Cards, and they'll give them a look. And we'll see how we do on those. Next group, this is more modern stuff. So this is the stuff that I really want Got Baseball Cards to screen. So there's a 88 Bo Jackson rookie card. This has got to come back as a 9. If it comes in as an 8, it might as well sell it raw. So looking to get this screen for a 9 or better. Same for this 91 Top Stadium Club. I like the resale value on Bo Jackson cards. 91 Griffey. Love to get a 10 on that. 91 Frank Thomas. Got some 87 Donruss Bonzas that I pulled out of boxes here in the last couple days. So here's the first one. These all look pretty decently centered. That one's a little bit off top to bottom. But I'm curious, like, does PSA have a little... Will PSA give a little leniency on those? I mean, even these in 9s, I'm okay. But I'd like to hit a 10 on at least one of them. Here are 4 O-Pee-Chee Premier Griffey Juniors. These all come back pretty well centered. Or they come out of the pack pretty well centered. So I'd love to get a 10 on this. I mean, this was super cheap, 10 bucks for the box. And I bought 2 boxes of this. So 20 bucks. I mean, if I get one back as a 10, I'm doing good on that. 87 Fleer Bo Jackson. This will be tough because of the chipping at the top. Usually that's the issue with the 87 Fleer. Love to get a 10 out of these 2. I have a couple other ones that I screened out already on my own. You know, these are a couple $100. You know, so if you pay 25, 30 bucks for the box and you pull a 10 on one of these, you've made more than made your money back. Got some Topps Big Bo Jacksons. hoping to get a 10 out of one of these. Get that light off there. So I got 3 of those. I'm really curious how those Topps Bigs do. This is a 96 or a 97 Bazooka. I think it's a 96 Bazooka Jeter. I thought this one looked pretty good and pretty well centered. Nice in the back. Corners looked pretty clean. So really, with those, 9s and 10s. Not looking for any 8s on any of that stuff from PSA. And hopefully Got Baseball Cards can get me there with that. On the ultra modern basketball, looking for 10s. And so when I submit these with my spreadsheet, I'll definitely make note of that, and I'll send them an email too. All right, here's some basketball. Rare Air Jordan, card number 1. Another Rare Air Jordan. Upper Deck Jordan, I think this is 93. Hand cut for Hank Aaron, 61 post. So this, you know, any grade is fine with this. Felt back, Bowman Chrome, it's 2005. Frank Gore, Bowman Chrome Auto. 2002 Ichiro Bowman Chrome. Hoping to get a 10 on this. This one looks pretty good. Yeah, that one looked decent. Pretty rare X-Fractor, 2002. Numbered to 250. So this is a second year card and it's an X-Fractor. Won't get a 10. Left to right is the issue. But hoping for at least a 9. PSA 9. 2001 Bowman Chrome, or Topps Chrome, excuse me, traded. This was out of a trade Topps, 2001 Topps traded update box, and this was a Chrome card that came in it. Pujols, 2001. This also came out of that same box. All 3 of these cards came out of the same box. So, looking to hopefully get 9s or 9s on these, minimally, preferably a 10. I broke open a box, so I got a bunch of 86 Topps traded. I invested in it a while back, just on the offhand chance that Bonds gets in the Hall. This one came back pretty well. These are so hard to find clean. I'm hoping this one sneaks through. I don't know if that's going to be an issue on the left-hand side there. I don't know. I pulled these out just in the last couple days out of an 82 Topps football box break. You know, I'll probably get 7s on these, but I'd rather send these into PSA than CSG because PSA tends to be a little more lenient on the centering. So maybe 6s, 7s on those. Otherwise, they look clean. Love to get a 10 on this. If you watched my video from Wednesday night this week, you saw that I pulled this out of a box. Pretty rare to pull out a centered 82 Topps football card, let alone one of, you know, probably the greatest left tackle in the history of the game. One of the greatest, if not the greatest. So I'd love to get a 10 on this. A 9 would even be okay, but preferably a 10. 82 Peyton. 86 Topps traded Bo Jackson. This might get screened out because of this stuff on the left-hand side. There's a little chipping there. So putting this together as a submission for Got Baseball Cards. Then we're going to go to the exhibits. So these are the exhibits. I think I've got just 4 here that I'm going to send in. I've got a few more of these, but these are the ones I was most interested in sending in. There's a Mantle. Amazed. So there's really not much that Got Baseball Cards is going to do with these. There's the Aaron. Banks. And Ted Williams. So I could put them in SGC slabs. I don't think CSG has the larger slabs. So, but I don't know. I figured I'd rather have them in PSA at this point. Not that I dislike it. SGC, I think, like, for some vintage, SGC looks great. Look at this. There's a Pele 62 Stella. Got a couple cards that I haven't put on the spreadsheet yet. Got a couple 87 Larkins that I'd like to get in. And now the second group of cards, or the second category of cards that I'm going to have submitted. I'm going to snap these out. So CSG 9.5s do not sell. Like, there's zero interest in people buying 9.5s. I think for CSG, it's the hardest graded card to sell. Anything less than a 9 in any slab, if it's not vintage, is going to be hard to sell. There's no doubt about that. But if I can get this in a 10 in a PSA slab, I can put this up for auction, and I can get a couple $100 for this. Now, will it come back as a 10? That's the question. That's the question. But I can tell you that if I put it up for auction and as a 9.5 in a CSG slab, I don't even know if anyone's going to bid on it. And it's not that CSG, well, part of it is CSG is so new, but also partly because 9.5, what does 9.5 even mean? I wish CSG didn't even do 9.5. At some level, I wish CSG just did straight grades, no half grades. Because 9.5, it's super hard to price it. You gotta kind of pick the middle, the median between a 9 and a 10, and most people don't want a 9.5. They want a 9 or they want a 10, and I don't really blame them for that. So I'm gonna snap that out. I got this one off of PWCC with the express interest in snapping it out. This was also a PWCC. This is a silver script. So you can see left to right, but I don't know. PSA tends to be a little more lenient on their centering, so we'll see. If this is a 9.5 in CSG, I think it could come back as a PSA 10. Got baseball card screens, thousands of cards, so they'll let me know. 87 Topps Traded Maddox, also off-centered left to right, top to bottom. It's a 92 Topps Stadium Club. I have a bunch of these, but this is the one that I thought had the best shot at getting through the screening process. Yeah, we'll see if this comes. I'd rather have this in a 9, in a PSA slab in a 9, than a CSG 9.5. Even if the value of the card is less, I can't move this card, Not that I have to move it, but I'd like to be able to at least put it in my case and sell it, put it up for sale. I was real surprised this came back as a 9.5. I looked at this card multiple times and it looked really clean, so I don't know, we'll see. 2001 Fleer Platinum Classic Combinations, Roland Schmidt, numbered to 2000. I think Roland's going to hit the Hall of Fame this year, so that might be a nice one to see if I can get it at a 9 or a 10. Yeah, so this is in a mint 9. I figured I'd give this a shot. Of course, it's off-centered, a little bit top to bottom and left to right. Probably won't get a 10 on this, but figured why not give it a shot. Even if it comes back as a 9 in a PSA slab, I can still work with this. Somebody might want it in a CSG slab, but right now I want to move some of this inventory, especially the stuff that's in 9.5s. 2014 Peyton Manning Black. So again, 9.5, what do I do with that? Rather have it in a PSA slab at a 9. Same for that. 96 Metal Universe. 92 Fleer Ultra. And don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean that I don't like CSG slabs. Love CSG slabs. I just have some inventory that I want to move. And so if you want to move it, and you think it has a legitimate shot of being screened and possibly being a 9 or a 10, then send it off to Got Baseball Cards after it's been snapped out of the case and see how you do. Is it a risk? Sure, everything's a risk. No guarantees. Some of these could come back as 7s or 8s from PSA, but that's why I have them screened with Got Baseball Cards. So Got Baseball Cards is kind of like well, they're my screener. I mean, I screen the cards myself, and then I do a secondary screening with Got Baseball Cards. They screen thousands of cards every week, and I think their team's really great to work with. So what happens is you send them into Got Baseball Cards after they're snapped out and put together your spreadsheet, and then they'll let you know with an email which ones were screened out, and then you can choose to have them sent back, or you can have them sent back with the submission, or you can have them graded anyway. You know, so you get to decide. You have some locus of control with what you want to get graded with Got Baseball Cards. That's all I got for you. Hopefully it was informational and you learned a little bit about my process for submitting to PSA. Hope you all have a blessed Sunday. Peace out. One love.